This morning, I heard a disturbing story from a veteran who served in Kuwait. He is getting treatment for the sex addiction that his wife says is tearing their marriage apart. She doesn't want to stay too long, but she doesn't want to leave too soon. And that tough decision brought them to divorce court.
Divorce court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Felicia Rudolph and Justin Rudolph, the two of you. Been together for 5.5 years, been married for 3.5 years. You do not want to be married anymore. Mrs. Rudolph, I'm going to start with you. Why don't you tell me why we're here in divorce court today?
We're here today because I'm just fed up. I'm almost ready to throw in the towel with my marriage because my husband is dealing with a sex addiction and it's just really caused a major issue in our marriage. And I just don't know what else that I can do that I haven't already done to make it work. I feel like I'm putting in more effort than he's putting in.
Okay. How has it disturbed your life? How has this sex addiction manifested itself and in so doing disrupted your marriage?
Well, it's a daily issue. It's something that has to be addressed every single day. I'm his wife and I feel a lot like his mother. I feel like I have to hold him accountable.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it simply the amount of sex he seeks from you, or is he going elsewhere? Is he addicted to porn? Is he texting other women? Is he sleeping with other women? How is it manifesting itself?
The way that it's manifested is, I just want to be clear, my husband does not engage, with women physically. His addiction is solely based upon social media, cyber sex, and porn. He will seek out different females via social media, and just he'll kind of go into it like he's trying to have a casual conversation. How are you? How was your day? Are you having problems in your relationship? And then it'll slowly evolve into something very sexual.
Yeah.
One of the phrases that he always seems to use in these conversations is it'll go from, hey, how you doing? And then all of a sudden it'll go, I'm about to take a shower. What are you doing? And when I see that phrase, I'm about to take a shower, I know what's next.
You know what's coming. Mr. Rudolph, do you agree that you do, in fact, have a sex addiction?
Yes, Your Honor.
And how long do you contend that you've had this affliction?
If I think about it very clearly, I would say since a kid.
Since you were young, like adolescent?
About 10 years old.
10 years old. Have you sought out assistance for it, help? Counseling?
I seek counseling once I got back from overseas. I did a little talk with a preacher, one of our chaplains overseas while I was in Kuwait about it.
After I forced the issue?
After she forced the issue. I really sought counseling when I got back, but never really kept up with it.
Was it helpful at all?
Not at first, no, because I felt pressured into doing it, and it didn't feel for the right reason, because growing up as a kid, I felt like I was doing everything for everybody else. So when she pressured me into seeking counseling, it was a big resistance because I wasn't ready to accept.
Yeah, an addict's got to want to get clean before he can get clean of anything. So you making him go doesn't help at all.
It took a long time to even get him to admit that this was an issue. Once the first relapse happened, or I don't want to call it a relapse, once the first incident happened that I became aware of, I did a little bit of research and put 2 and 2 together and realized that this is probably what it was. And at that point, I didn't really give him an option about it.
Yeah. How does it interfere with your life on a daily basis? Are you so addicted that you're stuck to the computer, you can't work, you can't actively engage in your personal life, or is it just something that,
It varies from day to day. I mean, one day I might be fine, I can go okay without doing it. Other days I might be on my phone for hours. Just like she said, it goes from saying, hey, how are you doing? And it's mostly seeking out females that I see that have relationship problems, females that are vulnerable.
Vulnerable, yeah.
So, and it makes it easy for me to reach out to them because they're in a situation that I feel like I'm in, relationship problems. So I reach out to them.
Well, what do you believe, other than the sex addiction? Because I'm gonna circle back to that later, though. What other relationship problems do you have with your wife?
Communication, not listening to each other, and just controlling. And
give me an example of an instance where you feel failed communication complicated things.
One time would be where, I had just left school because we were struggling financially. And I feel like I got to a point where we were doing okay. You know, it wasn't the best, but I feel like I could go back to school because being in the military, you know, they pay for me to go to school, basically. So I approached her one day. I was like, well, I'm thinking about going back to school. And instead of listening to the full reason why I want to go back to school, I was cut off immediately saying, this is not the right time to go back to school. We got bills to pay, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, you didn't even let me get the second sentence out before you cut me off to explain why I feel like I can go back to school.
Can Mr. Rudolph present an idea to you that you disagree with and be able to fully expound on what he's saying?
I feel that one of the reasons why I'm quick to kind of shut him down when he comes to talking about school is because he has commitment issues with. One week he wants to be an EMT, and then the next week he wants to be a music producer, and then the week after that he wants to be a construction worker, and then the week after that he wants to go to culinary school. It's like he can't commit to what it is that he wants to do. And I personally feel whatever you choose to go to school with, can you be passionate about it, not just for the week, but for a long period of time?
Do you have a lot of start and stops in schools? Have you begun a lot of things?
I have, and I choose a career based off what I see is going on at the time. That's where the commitment issue comes into play. Because again, I feel like until this day, I still feel like I'm sort of living for other people, you know, not for myself, you know.
Well, what do you want to do?
Honestly, I want to do the EMT thing. I found the passion for, you know, helping people in general, of like just talking to them. But my father was in the medical field, and as much as I stayed away from the path he did, he was military for 36 years. I ended up joining the military, and it just seems to follow, and I feel like a strong passion to doing EMT.
His stone face is contagious. I kind of feel like it's a
brings down the entire atmosphere.
It's a tension.
Mr. Rudolph, your response to that?
Your Honor, my stone face is only when I'm around her.
Ms. Rudolph, you said in your papers essentially that Mr. Rudolph is joyless. He walks around with you know, he's like Dr. Grumpy. You know, got an unhappy face. He's never joyful. Why don't you explain to me what your concerns is about his demeanor and how it affects you?
Okay. Well, firstly, I just want to say my name is Felicia. It means happiness, and I'm a really happy person. I like to laugh. I like to joke. I like to play around. That's just how I am, and I feel like he has adopted this permanent, what I call, stone face, and it's kind of like people when they get Botox and they try to laugh but their face doesn't move. He has, like, if something is funny going on, even if he finds it funny, he kind of like resists laughing or smiling. And so, for instance, my family and I, we went to New Jersey, where I'm from, for a family reunion recently. We went to a carnival, and carnival's fun. And when we got to the carnival, I spent a good amount of that time trying to just convince him to be more personable, be more outgoing, laugh. Let's ride the roller coaster. It's fun.
Yeah, just let him
participate. His stone face is contagious. I kind of feel like it's a
brings down the entire atmosphere.
It's a tension.
Mr. Rudolph, your response to that?
Your Honor, my stone face is only when I'm around her, because I feel a sense of, it's a defense mechanism that I already feel that we're about to argue about something. Something's about to come up that we're not agreeing about, and it's just a defense mechanism that I've grasped.
So you check out, you zone out in order to avoid any possible conflict.
Yeah, I mean, like the carnival she's speaking about, we were there having a good time, and of course she's gonna speak on the time that she didn't see me smiling, but of course when she looks at me and I see her looking at me, she's got a stone face on her face. I'm like, oh, what do I do now? And so first thing out of my mouth is, why are you not smiling?
The stone face came from the fact that...
Why are you not smiling? So I'm like, I'm smiling. Let's keep going on with the carnival because we're trying to have fun with the kids. You know, that's why we're here. This is not the appropriate time to be discussing this. We can discuss this amongst each other because it's not just a 2-second thing. She wants to talk for an hour about it. I'm not about to spend an hour at the carnival with my kids.
Talk about why you're not smiling.
Why I'm not smiling. That's just not the right place for it.
Ms. Rudolph, it's a perfectly reasonable explanation he just gave me. But I take it you disagree. So
I do. He resists. Anytime I tell him, hey, will you smile? He's like, I am smiling, but he's not smiling. Or, if I tell him, or if I ask him what's wrong, because his face would indicate that something's wrong. And I'll ask him what's wrong, nothing, just leave me alone, like nothing's wrong. But when you're constantly walking around with...
Do you think that his explanation, that his lack of affect around you is a function of not wanting to get into anything with you, holds any validity?
I don't believe that at all. I know for sure whether or not he's dealing with me directly or not dealing with me directly, he has that face. Like, for instance, if I'm going to pick him up from work, I'll pull up and he'll walk out of the door with that face.
If you're always, and I kind of get this idea that you're always on him a little bit, why aren't you smiling? Why don't you smile? Why can't you smile? This is great. You should be smiling. Bah, 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 bah. It's just annoying. And it's difficult to deal with because it's like a lot of incoming. It's a barrage of all of these. This is how you should feel. Why aren't you feeling the way I think you should feel? And you need to explain why it is you don't feel the way I think you ought to feel at this certain time in this certain moment. And when you barrage a person like that, they do shut down. Let the man be who he is. He's dealing with an addiction already. You know what I mean?
We're sitting at the place getting our marriage certificate done, and when she's filling it out, she writes the 25th, and I'm like, my birthday's the 24th, and the lady's looking at me like, how you marrying a woman that can't even get your birthday right? I'm like...
The fact that she can't get 24 or 25 is something you need to get over. Have you been living together for years but find that splitting up is as complicated as getting a divorce? Call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com. Don't forget to join the conversation on social media. Go to facebook.com/divorcecourt and follow us on Twitter and Instagram @divorcecourt. If you would like your case to be heard on Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram @divorcecourt. Now that I fussed at Mrs. Rudolph, I'm going to fuss at you. You say it's a big deal that she always gets your birthday wrong. You say you're born on the 24th and she wrote down the 25th on the marriage certificate. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, why does that bother you?
I mean, to most people, it wouldn't be an issue, okay? Like a friend, oh, I forgot your birthday, but this is my spouse I'm talking about, somebody I've known for going on 5 years now. You know, you should remember my birthday. I mean, we're sitting at the place getting our marriage certificate done, and when she's filling it out, she writes the 25th, and I'm like, my birthday's the 24th, and the lady's looking at me like, how you marrying a woman that can't even get your birthday right? I'm like, it's a little bit embarrassing when, you know, I know my friend's birthday. I would expect my spouse to know my birthday.
I don't remember anybody's anything. I'm doing good to remember my own birthday. I had my age wrong for 2 years once, and my husband had to correct me. And we had to sit down and do the math because I swore I was 36 and I was really 35. Now look. There are things to get upset about. You know, this woman obviously cares about you. It's not like that she is dismissive or, if anything, she's a little too micromanaging.
Yeah.
And the fact that she can't get 24 or 25 is something you need to get over.
I mean, you're right.
It's silly. Period. Got it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's move on. You got other issues to deal with, you know? You know, you can't stay off the porn site. Don't worry about whether or not she knows it's the 24th or the 25th. Ms. Rudolph, if I could get him to do one thing that is manageable for him, that would allow you to remain in this union or at least encourage you to do so, what would that one thing be?
As I've indicated to him on a million different occasions, when dealing with any addiction, in order to recover from it, you really have to make a daily commitment to your treatment. And I feel like he'll go 3 days of getting treatment and then 5 days of not getting treatment. And then I'll be on his back. I'll be on his back and I'll say, you know, did you call your meeting today? And he'll be like, yeah. And then sometimes I'll pick up his phone and check his call log and there was no such call made. And again, I'm being forced to play his mother when I want to be his wife, not his mother. And I need him to make a daily commitment where I don't have to hold him accountable, and have that inspiration within himself to get better. Because whether or not I'm with him or not, he can't go through his life with this addiction. It's going to affect him in more ways than one.
Can I say this to you? The more you said, I had indicated to him 1,000,000 different times. That's what you just said. This man is not going to do it.
Right. Because
you're pestering him about it. You make it harder for him to seek treatment because you are playing the mother role. And you after you all the time. Remember the teacher in Charlie Brown? Just, all of that. It's just noise to him because it's all of the time. And quiet as it kept, how crazy is it to continue to do something that isn't working? You've done it 1,000,000 times and it hasn't worked.
Right.
So stop. On divorce court,
Her mother is with us.
does she help
No.
with the kids?
They could tie her up and just do what they want with her.
They wouldn't tie up grandma, would they?
Yes, they would.
But you have 10 children.
10.
10.
10.
10.
I don't think I ever want to get married again.
You got 10 kids. You got plenty to do. Visit our website at divorcecourt.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Divorce Court. You were saying that you don't know what the correct response would be?
Right. Okay. For example, just about a month ago, I went through his phone and I discovered that he had written an old coworker of mine, using his usual process. We're having marriage issues. I'm about to take a shower, I'm about to take a shower. All the
He's back
telltale
into his
signs that he's
addictive
going to
behavior. I
relapse.
get it.
And when this is constantly an issue, it's a cycle. He says he gets caught relapsing. He cries about it. He says he's going to do better. He does better for a couple of days, and then it just keeps going around and around and around and around. And when this is something that happens frequently, I know that I'm kind of beating my head against a wall. I'm beating a dead horse. As much as I want to be there for him,
people always amaze me about, I keep doing it, and I keep doing it, and I keep doing it, and it's not working, so I keep doing it, and I keep doing it, and I keep doing it, but it's not working, so I keep doing it, and I keep doing it, and I keep doing it. You've got to do something else. There are support groups for families of addicts.
I just joined one last week.
Then that's what you need to do.
That's the one
Stop
thing I was
doing what
telling
you
her.
are doing and allow something new to take its place. Do you see what I'm saying? Because what you are doing is more destructive than it is constructive. They will tell you how to best deal with an addict without becoming a ping pong ball in his little cycle going on over there. Mr. Rudolph, you're going to lose your wife if you don't get serious.
You're right,
understand that?
And I've gotten serious with it because I understand that I do need to get it better, and I'm doing that. But it's kind of hard to get better when you got somebody in your ear instead of enjoying good times that we have together. All you see is, what did you call the meeting? What did you do this? Well, can we talk about, can we go on a nice date? Something
I
different.
got that. But I already fussed at her about that. Did you hear me?
I did, Your Honor.
I was loud and clear about what she needed to do. And I'm going to say one more thing to you. And I know it's an addiction and all this kind of stuff. But let me tell you something. When you're texting those women on social media whose relationships aren't good, they are vulnerable, and that's got a little bit of predator in it, and you don't have that right. I don't care how sick you are. That is a dirty thing to do, to take somebody who is vulnerable in a weak situation. You don't know if they're in an abusive situation. You don't know what's going on at their house, and then fill their head with lies and they think that something else is going on. You don't know if their husband's going to see it and what's going to happen to them then. You don't know how devastated they are going to be because their self-esteem is probably already low because their relationship sucks. And here you come faking them out and lying to them. Just because you can't see their face doesn't mean you're not victimizing them. And you are, and you need to cut that out. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Remember, don't be a predator. You can be sick if you're sick, you're sick. But don't be a predator. We're not having that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good luck to the both of you. This matter is adjourned. You just heard me tell Felicia that if she's doing the same thing over and over again and it's not working, that she should stop doing it. Ask yourself this: are you doing the same thing over and over again and it's not working? And if so, stop it.